Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is day 3 of the Douglas and Runger Estate Planning Mini Boot Camp. I apologize for showing up late. This is actually a real life example of the way that the coronavirus is affecting our court systems. I had a telephonic conference that was set to begin at 11:30 this morning, and a lot of these conferences in probate court are being held telephonically, and there are some technological issues with phone systems and conferencing, to say the least. I managed to figure out how to do conference calls on my work phone, which is a good thing, but the technology delays, they just keep kind of coming, and my hearing got bumped about 20 minutes or so. So that's the reason I wasn't able to start on time. But nonetheless, I'm here, and that's real life proof to you that we are moving matters forward here, especially in probate court. We are 2 probate court judges here. Both do an excellent job, and they're both very knowledgeable, very great judges, and they have done a really good job of being accommodating during this time, this unprecedented time, and also of just pushing matters forward to the best of their ability. So we are still up and running. Day 3, first day on Monday, we talked about the first document of a basic estate plan, which is the last will and testament. Yesterday, we touched on the durable power of attorney for health care and the durable power of attorney for financial transactions. The fourth and final document that constitutes a basic estate plan for individuals is called a living will. All right, and the living will, not to be confused with the last will and testament, a living will is a legal document which allows an individual to set forth their preferences with respect to whether or not they want to have their life prolonged in the event that their treating physician is of the opinion that there is no reasonable medical expectation of recovery. So in other words, if you are basically hanging on by a thread, the treating physician tells your family member that there is no way that you're going to come out of this, there is no way that you are going to survive. You're just being kept alive by life support and artificial nourishment. The living will is the document that allows an individual to set forth their preferences in writing as to whether or not they want to basically, authorize the withholding or withdrawal of artificially provided food, water, or other nourishments, which is basically what's keeping them alive, or if they do not want to authorize the withholding of those fluids, food, and water. Not to be crass, but really, more or less, do you want your families to essentially pull the plug in the event that your doctor, and this is the big thing, this isn't just, you may or may not make it. This is when your treating physician is telling your family members that there is no reasonable medical expectation of recovery, and you are just being kept alive just for the sake of being kept alive. So the living will is the document that allows an individual to set forth their preferences. There are other preferences that can be set forth in the living will as well. And one of those is, organ donor certification. So some of you may have on your driver's license, or I don't know, the new universal ID card, your preferences with whether or not you want to be an organ donor. Our living will actually allows you to set forth those preferences as well. And not only, yes, I have a blanket desire to donate all of my organs or tissues for transplant, or no, I don't want to. You can actually specify what types of organs that you would want to do. Oftentimes, other people in living wills will set forth their preferences to how they want their burial ceremonies conducted, how they want their funerals conducted, where they want their funerals conducted, who they want to speak at their funeral, and so on and so forth. So the living will is actually the place that you would do that in instead of a last will and testament. Some people like to try to include that stuff in a last will and testament. it's actually really not the place to do it, because the last will and testament isn't even going to be admitted to probate and not have any legal effect until it goes in front of a judge. So you would do that in a living will. Again, like the other documents that we talked about, the last will and testament, the powers of attorney, these living wills are not housed in any sort of a database. So what our recommendation to people is that, you know, when they're coming in and doing this basic estate plan package, that whoever the attorney in fact that they name in their durable power of attorney for healthcare, that individual, you know, be furnished a copy of the living will, so that they will know what their preferences are with respect to, you know, do they want to stay, you know, alive by artificial nourishment, or do they not want to? And there's no right or wrong answer to that question either, by the way. Some people, like myself, are going to say, no, I do not want to just be kept alive, so please, please, you know, tell the physicians that I do not want to be kept alive. I do want to authorize the withholding of artificially provided food, water, or other nourishment. Some people, like my wife, Jody Runger, if she's watching this, hello. She is of the opinion that, and it's her belief that, no, she wants to be kept alive at all costs. Miracles happen every day, and all you got to do is turn on the TV to see it. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's just whatever is personal to you. And I have actually been doing these for 17 years. I've seen people do both, and it's just a total personal preference. Now, while physicians and medical attendants will oftentimes, you know, they're going to want to see a power of attorney, a durable power of attorney for healthcare before they'll talk to you. You know, they don't really ask to see a living will. Now, they may inquire if the patient has a living will, and usually when they're having that conversation in the situation, they're speaking to the attorney in fact, who's named in a durable power of attorney for healthcare. And that's where the real trust factor has to come in between you and the person that you appoint as your attorney in fact, because the attorney in fact could just, what if their beliefs or their feelings for what should happen to you are different than what you set forth in your living will? In other words, what if I say in my living will, I do not want to be kept alive with artificially provided nourishment if my doctor says that I'm not going to live through this? And what if my wife, as my agent, as my attorney in fact, just, you know, misrepresents something, you know, to a doctor, you know, because she's the attorney in fact under my power of attorney, which she says, I don't agree with that, you know, with his decision, and so she's gonna say no, or no, he doesn't have a living will, or no, or yeah, he has one, but I can't find it. But, you know, I promise you, doctor, that it says that he does not authorize the withholding of artificial nourishment. He wants to be kept alive at all costs. So you do have to really have that implicit trust there with your attorney in fact, and understand that, you know, while these providers will ask to actually see a power of attorney, they typically are not going to ask to see an actual physical copy of a living will. They'll just ask about the existence of it. So that's it. That's a wrap on this thing. You've got the last will and testament, you've got the powers of attorney, and you've got the living wills. And we have been preparing these documents for years and years and years, and I do hundreds and hundreds of them. And it's a great thing to have. It gives people peace of mind. We do offer packages where you actually get a discount on them if you're actually, you know, purchasing the turnkey type package, and that's really what you're going to want to look for if you are you know, considering getting an estate packages. If you speak to a lawyer, you can say, hey, you know, this is what I want. I want a last will and testament. I want powers of attorney for healthcare. I want a power of attorney for business, and I want a living will. And ask the lawyers if they offer some sort of a turnkey package where you get somewhat of a break on the pricing of it, as opposed to if you're just ordering something a la carte. The same rules apply with all of this stuff. You know, you think that you have a living will, you want to try to cut a corner, and you want to try to, you know, print it off of the internet and sign it and think it's valid. I mean, it's still a bad idea. there are certain things that are, we add. I personally have done one of these. I've done one of these things for an individual since the COVID-19 pandemic has gone along, and that wasn't a pre-printed form. We put special provisions in there for how they wanted things to be handled, and of course it was executed properly. So again, if I can't stress this enough, with all of these documents, you're not just paying for the document preparation, you are paying for the lawful execution of them. And that's where the experience and guidance of having an attorney is invaluable. I don't get on WebMD and try to treat myself for medical conditions, and you shouldn't try to do the same for your legal situation. So as I promised you earlier in the week, I am going to go back and put together these, well, I've already put them together, but I'm actually going to record a presentation on Zoom with all of these different slides that I was going to share on here, so that everybody can have it and they can have the PowerPoint presentation. They'll be able to access it here on the Douglas and Runger Facebook fan page, and they'll see it, and it'll just be me actually going through and talking over all of this stuff again. My face won't be as big. The way they do it in Zoom is when you have a PowerPoint presentation, you're actually, my face will be in a little box in the top right-hand corner, and so you'll be looking at the slides, but unfortunately you'll have to hear my voice throughout the whole thing. So my apologies for that, but then we will actually, for people, we'll have some pricing information on there for sort of like our packages and stuff like that, and what we offer and what we can do to assist you if you're wanting to try to get this stuff done during these uncertain times. So I appreciate everybody's viewership, and thank you for watching, and I hope that you found just a small bit of this hopefully helpful for you and informative. And as always, any type of questions that you may have regarding estate planning or probate matters or anything of that nature, please give me a call at 901-388-5805, or you can just Google my name online. There'll be all kinds of information. We've got multiple websites. It's easy to reach us. Questions to a lot of frequently asked questions are on our website at www.douglasrunger.com. We have videos up there like this. We will have additional videos on there. We just scratched the surface on this stuff over this. This is why it's called a mini boot camp. This isn't a full-blown boot camp, okay? These are the basics. This is what everybody needs. So thank you for watching, and I hope everybody stays safe, stays healthy. Take this seriously. Social distance. Just because you feel good right now doesn't mean that you're going to feel well in 10 days or so. So please be socially responsible and don't screw everything up for the rest of us who are trying to follow the rules. Okay, thank you, and I will see you soon, and come back and look for that presentation later this week.